Hello everyone, Godre here, and this is my morning brief. On today's morning brief, I want to talk about non-resident Nigerian accounts. I'm sure you're wondering, what the heck is this? Anyway, so I think last week the central bank released I don't know what to call it, a circular, but a notice on its website, and it was referring to a non-resident Nigerian accounts. And it was something that they had mooted last year that they were going to do, which essentially allows non-resident Nigerians, by definition, non-resident Nigerians are Nigerians who live abroad and not here, like they live and work abroad, to open accounts in Nigeria easily. So you're wondering, did we used to have this before? Some of those are, diaspora Nigerians do have accounts here, but there's a bit difference with this one. And I'm hoping that on today's morning brief, I would, as much as I can, break this down. So I do have some things that I've written down here. So I'm going to try as much as possible to take this sequentially. Now, of course, the central bank is yet to release its FAQs, at least as at the time we tape this recording. So this is almost like me coming up with my own understanding of what this means. So let's go right into it. So what is the non-resident Nigerian account? So essentially, it's a way for diaspora Nigerians to have a bank account in Nigeria seamlessly without the hassles that is typically involved today. So you also don't need to fly into Nigeria to open this account. So basically, you can be in the comfort of your house in Texas, in San Francisco, in London, in Austria, in France, wherever it is you are non-resident in, or you're a resident in, especially if you're not in Nigeria, and then you can open this account. There are actually two types of that account from what I saw in the CBN document. There is the non-resident Nigerian ordinary account. I don't know why they call it ordinary, but I mean non-resident Nigerian ordinary account. And then there's the non-resident Nigerian investment account. I think that's kind of easy to decipher. But let me try and explain it. So the non-resident Nigerian ordinary account, it's basically like your regular, current account or savings account that you can have here in Nigeria. And when you open that account, it's just for you to deposit money in. So the idea is that if you have a non-resident ordinary account, you can inflow FX from your account overseas into the local account here in Nigeria. Of course, it's going to be open with a bank here in Nigeria. So think about it. Let's assume you have salary abroad and you want to, maybe keep some of your savings in a Nigerian account, which I think might be quite interesting to a lot of Nigerians who don't want to keep all their eggs in one basket. So if you wanted to have some of your dollars or pounds or euro in a Nigerian local bank account here, then that allows you to do it. So you open that foreign account and then you can put it here. Now, what is interesting is that you can also do similar for a Naira account as well. So it doesn't necessarily have to be foreign account, but according to them, they said that you must have shown that you've maybe at some point had a domiciliary, a forex inflow in that account and then converted it to Naira before. So essentially, this is all about ensuring that you can get FX from wherever it is you are, and then you can, deposit it here in a Nigerian account easily without having to be here. Because typically what happens is that you have to maybe fly into here and open the account and sometimes maybe deposit the cash here yourself, or find ways to transfer it through a third party and blah blah blah. But the CBN is saying you can do this straight up easily now. Open the account from the comfort of your home and then have that money transferred. So the investment account is a little different. That one is for bit of a similar purpose, but the difference is that if you wanted to bring in money here that you can save or you can invest in, then that is what that's for. So let me just try and explain a bit better. So for the non-resident ordinary account, that is mostly used for maybe if you wanted to meet local expenses, maybe you have loved ones here that you want to be sending money to, or you have payments here that you want to make, or you have employees here that you want to pay even though you're living abroad. So you get your money in, let's say you get your dollars, let me just use dollars as an example, you flow it into your local bank account here, and then you can convert that into Naira using the prevailing rate. And of course, you know that we have a free an exchange rate that is very close to the black market rate these days. So you can convert that and then pay as well. So that is what the ordinary account is for. So just, like I said, it's just almost like your current account. But for the investment account, now that one allows you to invest in things like Nigerian treasury bills, FGM bonds, or Euro bonds, right? So think about it. You've been hearing about, all these Euro bonds or dollar bonds that are being sold in Nigeria with very good interest rates. So you can move your money from your account abroad and then move it into the local account here. And then you can do this investment. And hey, doesn't look like a bad idea. Think about it. If you were to save money in maybe a bank account abroad or some of this investment assets abroad, especially fixed income, maybe a bond, you're probably going to be getting like 3-4% savings rate or investment rate. I'm sure that's what you're going to be getting. But if you're going to be using that money to invest in, say, Nigerian Euro bonds, in fact, the last dollar bond that was sold in Nigeria went for a yield of 9.75%. Like, I don't think you can get that kind of yield outside Nigeria. So that is what this does for you. Of course, you can also use that to invest in, maybe stock market or even real estate. So you bring that money in, you convert it to Naira, and then do your investment, and then the dividend or the proceeds from your investment goes back into the account easily, and then you can convert it back again into dollars and take away, or just leave it as Naira, or even move it out as Naira as well. So, but it's just through that account, and that's the advantage of having the investment account, the non-resident investment account. Now, like I mentioned, you can always repatriate your funds without hassles at all. At least that's what they've said. It's easy for you to repatriate your funds. You don't even need, some of this documentation that most people typically need if you wanted to move money out of the country. Especially, there's one they call ECCI. That's your certificate of capital importation, the electronic version of it. You don't need it, from what I gather, to transfer money, to repatriate your money out of this. So even your Naira balances, like I mentioned, can be repatriated. Now, there are caveats, and one of the caveats that I did see was quite interesting, and they said you can't deposit money into that account. Like, you can't tell somebody here, oh, I better go put 100K inside of my account, or maybe tell somebody to wire 100K for you in that account. Doesn't look like that's possible. So they said there's no local deposits, and so you can't do that. So the only inflows that get into those accounts are inflows coming from you abroad, maybe your salary or something, or your earnings as an entrepreneur abroad can get in there. And I understand that, one of the KYC requirements, which I will get to at some point, is that you have to show some of this evidence of these things. And then dividends and returns from your investments here automatically goes into that account. So you can't deposit money. So don't make the mistake of giving somebody that account number to maybe put some money in there for you. They're not going to allow that, or I think there are restrictions around that one. So I thought that was interesting. I want to know how that works really, because a lot of people just want to have a bank account and have so many things go in there and all that. But I think for the CBN, this is more about remittances, and making sure that people who want to inflow money into this country have a very seamless way of doing it. So that is what I hear. Now, in terms of documentation, one of the problems I always have with opening bank accounts in Nigeria is they're just lengthy things, documentation to fill. To be fair, it's like that globally as well. Most countries, you have to bring all sorts of information. But here, I understand you need to show a valid Nigerian passport, and then even if it's expired, you can, maybe upload. Again, this thing is all digital, I understand. Upload a valid foreign passport or proof of residency, and then you can have that uploaded into your account, into the system for you to have this account open. I also hear you need to provide things like proof of residency, utility bills showing where you live, proof of income, whether you're a salary earner, and maybe you are an entrepreneur, so you gotta show where your income is coming from. Then you also need to show tax receipts. I don't know what they're saying. These are the things that you gotta show as well. And quite interesting that they're asking for a lot of this documentation. I guess is because they don't want to flout any of the same kind of rules that would apply elsewhere, especially in the US, where account opening is actually a very strict business. So who are the people that qualify for this? Again, it's only Nigerians in diaspora. So if you're not in diaspora, you're not qualified for this, and you have to be a Nigerian, by the way. So Nigerians in diaspora are the only ones that qualify for this sort of investment. Of course, if you earn money from here and the applicable taxes, they're likely going to tax it. Of course, one of the taxes that you tend to always see is things like withholding taxes, especially when you're doing investments. They do take withholding taxes from your interest income, so that applies anywhere, anyway, to anyone. So it's not like you're going to be different if you do this. And from what I hear, the bond market and some of the fixed income security market is going to be very well integrated into that account. So it's going to be very easy. It's almost like today, if you're buying stocks in Nigeria and you want to get dividend, if you fill the e-dividend form, the dividend just automatically flows back into your account. So it looks like that is also what they are trying to do here. I do hear that cash withdrawals is possible. The only thing is that I don't know whether the cash withdrawal is from you who own the account. Maybe when you come to Nigeria, you can probably withdraw that cash, or whether you can give someone a check to withdraw that cash. I guess when the CBN comes out with his FAQs, then maybe that will clarify that. I'm not really sure whether, but I do know that cash withdrawals are applicable here, so they're allowed essentially. I think that's about it. So again, it's called the Non-Resident Nigerian Accounts, and it's two of them: Non-Resident Nigerian Ordinary Account and a Non-Resident Nigerian Investment Account. And you do need a BVN, of course, to open this, but I understand that there's also a non-resident BVN that has now been facilitated by NIBS. NIBS is the company, Nigerian entity that manages BVN. So with NIBS, you can get a BVN as well from you don't need to be in Nigeria to do that, and then that just integrates into getting that account. So that essentially is those is what that non-resident account means. What do you think? I mean, for me, I think that it's a good thing. It's very important that Nigeria has this now, for at least investors, Nigerians who live abroad can now easily open an account without having to be here. You don't have to come here, and then you can also participate or partake in investment opportunities here as well. What's the difference between this and maybe opening a domiciliary account? Well, I guess for me, the major difference is that if you want to open a domiciliary account, you have to come down here in Nigeria and open a domiciliary account. And domiciliary accounts all have restrictions, right? So you can't withdraw a certain amount of money. You can't transfer from one person to the other, and the domiciliary account assumes that you're actually living in Nigeria or you're here in Nigeria, even though that's not the case. And domiciliary accounts as well, it's not necessarily restricted to being Nigerians alone. So this one is for non-resident non-resident Nigerians who are in diaspora. Again, why would you want to do this? Well, you want to do this if you want to stash some of your income here in Nigeria in dollars. Maybe just you don't want to keep all your income abroad. You want to keep some in your currency, in that hard currency here in Nigeria. Then that's good for you because the money just moves straight in there and is kept for you. If you also wanted to convert some of your income to Naira to sort out people here, you can do that as well. It's just that I don't know whether they can withdraw or how well you can transfer or how easy you can transfer that money. But I think from what they've basically explained, you can do that. And then if you wanted to invest, which I think is even a lot more interesting, and then this allows you to do that easily. So once you open that account and you set it up as a non-resident Nigerian investment account, then automatically that just sets it up as an investment account. And whether it's treasury bills or FGM bonds or Euro bonds, whatever investment you want to do, that account handles it, and all the dividends will just flow into the account. So it's not like there's any third party in between. So those are the advantages for opening that account. So I would like to know, would you open a non-resident Nigerian account at some point in time? Does this make sense to you? Feedback, please, in the comment section. And this is my money brief for today. As usual, do have a profitable week ahead. Bye.